Hello. So it's been quite a while since I have posted a video, and I think by quite a while I mean like 2 months. For my birthday, which was February 15th, why did I have to think about that? For my birthday, I received a surprise gift of 2 baby tarantulas. It's not uncommon for slings to die because they're so little and fragile, so I didn't want to make a video of them right away because they might die the next day. But I've had them for a while now. They're doing really well, and now I'm going to make a video about them. So this is going to be the update on my slings, and I'm going to rehouse one of them. I am not excited for this rehouse, okay? I've been delaying it because this sling already got loose in my house once. She is a crackhead. Let's just say that. She's nuts. I didn't want to do this quarantine, but that's not what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? I didn't want to do this rehouse by myself, but because we're in quarantine, I cannot have anyone come help me. Everyone has left town. No one is here. I have no friends that live near me, and the only person I live with is my sister. And although she loves my other tarantulas, she is not going to help me with this one. I'm just going to lock myself in the bathroom and go for it. It'll probably be very entertaining for you and pretty stressful for me. So anyways, let me tell you a little bit about the slings. So in my house, I have kind of like a Japanese theme going. I love Japan. I love Japanese culture, whatever. So that's why I'm kind of sticking to this in terms of the names of my exotic pets. So these new slings, I wanted to get to know them a little bit before I named them, and I came up with names for them. So the little one that you will see first is so sweet, so gentle. I named her Tenchi, and Tenchi means angel in Japanese, which fits her perfectly. She is so sweet and cute. The other one, the nutty one, her name is Karuta, and Karuta means like crazy maniac in Japanese. So that's their names, and they fit them so well. Tenchi is a Grammostola pulchra tarantula. So if you watched my video on preparing Soba's enclosure and getting ready for her to come here, I had gone to the Pet Expo, and that's where I bought her. And I had mentioned the only other thing I would want to get if I saw it there was a Grammostola pulchra tarantula. I have wanted one of those for a long time. They didn't have one, obviously. They're hard to come by. They can be very expensive. And I just didn't find one at the expo. So I was really, really happy to get her. She is going to be huge, like dinner plate sized, huge, up to 10-inch leg span. She's just going to be really big, but they are so gentle and docile, velvety jet black. They are just beautiful, but they take a very, very long time to grow. So it'll be really cool to watch her grow and molt. I want to save all of her molts, and then when she's larger, maybe like put them in a picture frame from when she was like little tiny to big in a long picture frame. I think that would be really cool. So I'm really excited about her. The other one, geez, what is the scientific name? Salmopius cambridgei? I don't know. I'll have to double check that. But otherwise known as the Trinidad chevron. And it is an arboreal species. So instead of being terrestrial, like the 2 that I have already, which means they burrow in the dirt, she's arboreal, which means she's a climber. And that means that she's jet fast and bolty and more venomous and a nut. She's a nut. Let's just put it as it is. So maybe I'll get a picture of her. I'm gonna have my camera in the bathroom. I really want to get a good picture of both of them. They're just so tiny. I haven't even, other than Tenchi, I haven't even gotten to have a good look at Karuta because she's just so freaking fast. So maybe I can get her to sit still for just a second so I can at least get a photo of her or look at her, see what she looks like. I don't know. I'm heading to the store now. I'm gonna stop rambling because I'm pretty sure I've been talking for like 5 minutes already, and you're probably bored. But you know what? It's quarantine. What else are you gonna do? So I will see you when I get back. Okay, so we're back. I'm going to show you Tenchi first because she is the least problematic. I'm going to show you what she lives in right now. This is what she lives in. She is very tiny, and this is plenty big for her for quite some time actually. I have some white paper here that I'm going to put her on so we can actually get a good look of her. She's not very fast, so she's not going to really go anywhere. And I'm going to try and get a few good pictures of her because honestly I want to document her growth and her life and see how she changes. So let's do that. So this is Tenchi. She's tiny, really tiny. Let's see if she'll go on this paper so I can get a couple good pictures of her. She's got little tiny black feet. She is so cute and so little. She's probably just gonna sit on my hand, honestly. So this is the enclosure Karuta is going in. It's a Zoom Med. It was $80, but it got 70% off, so that's kind of amazing. This is what Karuta is in now, which is totally okay for her, but I'm going to move her to more of an arboreal setup now that she's getting a little bit bigger. You're not able to see her. She's all webbed this is all webbing. So let's just get this over with. Sort of blessed with her presence. You can see on her butt the chevrons. That's why she's called the Trinidad chevron. She's about 2 inches right now. And she's freaking fast. So I have to get it from here to there. The door is blocked. Okay.
Do you want a scrunchie, a hair tie, or?
No, I got it. All right. So let's pressure her a little bit. You can see her little leg. All right. This is the little lid that I made. Oh, she's already in there. You can see her tiny little fangs. Do you want to sit by me down here just to look at her? She can't go anywhere now. Here, let me lift it up a little bit. Tiny little fangs at the top. Look, those little orange ones. Look how chunky her paws are. There we go. Change it to... Look at the chevrons on her butt and her little feet. Okay, go to... She definitely won't dart out of here because she's gonna love this. And there she is. She looks so little in this. Okay, I'm gonna answer some questions that people sent me about keeping tarantulas and what they're like and things like that. So, first one, are they docile? So yes and no. It depends on the species, depends on the individual, much like other pets. Mochi, my oldest tarantula, she's an Arizona blonde, and I'd say she is docile, but you can annoy her. You basically just have to check them whenever you're going to interact with them or feed them to see if they're in a bad mood, and if they are in a bad mood, you just leave them alone. But as long as you don't bother them when they're not in a bad mood and you're not overly annoying, they are pretty docile and easy to work with. Karuta, she is just bolty and fast. She's not defensive or aggressive. She's never done a threat posture, but that might change when she's older. Tenchi, she is completely docile. So it's just different based on what species, the individual, how you interact with them. It's like any other kind of pet, honestly. Okay, what do they eat? So all of my crickets, there's your answer. All of my teas eat crickets because they move enough that it causes them to jump at them. I don't really know how to explain that. Like, some people feed roaches, and I did buy an entire colony of roaches, and my tarantulas won't eat them. So I have a colony of roaches just living in my house. They just don't move enough. Roaches tend to play dead, and then the tarantula thinks it's dead and is like, yeah, I don't want it. So I mostly just feed crickets. Maybe I'll get them to eat a roach one day, but it hasn't worked out for me since. What do I do with the molts? So actually, I haven't had a molt yet. Mochi is like 12 or 13 years old. She's fully adult size. She hasn't molted in like 6 years. So, and I haven't owned her for even a year yet, I don't think. So I have never had a molt from her, and I might not ever get a molt from her. Tenchi and Karuta are both so new here that I don't have a molt from them either, but I will get molts from them. I'm planning on keeping them and probably framing them. I would like to frame like their growth based on their molts in a frame. I think that would be really cool. You just have to like soak them in water so they can soften, and you can lay them out how you want to lay them out and pin them down. So that's probably what I'm gonna do with the molds. Have I ever lost one? So in terms of like death, no, I haven't. In terms of losing one in my house, yes, once. I'm sure you can guess which one that was. But she was only lost for like a minute. My cat actually caught her. She was fine. But no, and I'm pretty sure Mochi will be my first death because she's so old. So that's going to be sad. What do they need to live? Not very much. That's why they make such good pets, because they really don't need a lot. And they're pretty hardy, honestly. And they're very cheap to have. Each cricket costs me less than 10 cents. And Mochi eats once a week, and sometimes she goes a long time without eating, and it doesn't break my bank to feed her. So, and they can live in Tupperware, plastic tubs you can get anywhere. You don't have to get anything fancy. You throw some dirt in, a water dish, maybe something for them to climb on or hide in, and that's it. They live in there their whole life, and they're just fine. So you don't need a lot to have one. Hardest thing about owning tarantulas. There's really not that much that's hard about owning them. I'd say recently the new cat that we've adopted has been kind of annoying in wanting to hunt them all the time. So we're keeping them separate, and I guess that's kind of annoying, but that's really an individual thing. Like if you don't have cats, obviously that wouldn't be an issue for you. And I guess it can become kind of like obsessive. It can become an addiction. You want to get more and more. You want new species. You want the colorful ones, and they're not that expensive to buy or to keep. So it can get kind of out of hand, and then soon you can have a ton, and I would have a ton if I lived in my own house and didn't rent. So okay, last one. Why am I the way that I am? I don't know. Thank you for asking that. I don't know why I'm this way. I just like animals. I like exotic pets. I like nurturing animals, teaching people about them. I don't know. I am the way that I am. Okay, so I look different because I had a 24-hour story up allowing people to like submit questions. And since I've filmed, I've got a few more, so I'm inserting this with the answers. So one of the questions was, how long does it take for them to reach maturity or their adult size? And that completely depends on species. Species like my Arizona Blonde, Mochi, they typically grow really slow, along with Tenchi, who's a Grammostola pulchra. She will grow really slow. She probably won't reach maturity. Not maturity, I'm sorry. She probably won't reach her adult size until she is maybe 7 or 8 years old. It'll take a really long time to watch her grow. And then there are some species that mature and get to their adult size within 2 years or even a year and a half. So it completely depends. Both of my species, all 3 of my species are fairly slow growing. So it completely depends. Also, one of the questions was, what is the difference between New World and Old World tarantulas? So Old World tarantulas come from the Old World, which would be the Eastern Hemisphere, Asia, Europe, Africa. And the New World species come from the New World, which would be the Americas, in reference to when Columbus discovered it as the New World. So the difference physically between them, New World tarantulas have what's called urticating hairs. So their abdomen is really like furry and fluffy, and they can kick those hairs off of themselves, and it's very irritating if you breathe them in, if you get them in your eyes. Old world tarantulas do not have this, and to make up for not having these urticating hairs, they usually have stronger venom and a very nasty attitude. They are very fast. So New World tarantulas are recommended for beginner keepers, and there is virtually no Old World species that I could say is good for a beginner. They are just harder to take care of. So that's about that. And the last question was, where can you buy them? You actually buy them online if you don't have anyone near you, any breeders near you. A website I really recommend is Fear Not Tarantulas. That's where I got Tenji and Karuta from. Mochi, I got her from Purdue's entomology department. Actually, there's an entomologist there. He was selling some of his collection that he keeps in the bug barn there, so I bought Mochi from him. She was my first. And then the two, Tenji and Karuta, are from online Fear Not Tarantulas. They're shipped overnight, and they show up in a box at your door. So that's where you can buy them. Thank you for the questions. Okay, so that went literally so well. I cannot believe how smoothly that went. It took like 3 minutes, no issues. Hopefully it's like that next time, which won't be for a few years, honestly. So that was Tenji and Karuta. Hope you liked them. I'll be doing an update on Soba next month because she'll be a year old in April. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, hope you enjoyed.